I guess if you read the comments on my BOP analysis for this race, the title might look like a bit of a lie. Let's make no mistake here though, it was definitely an unexpected pole position by Kevin Estre in the number 6 Porsche Penske Motorsport 963. Throughout qualifying this week, I think it's safe to say that Porsche's had a lot less pace than we might have expected going in, myself included. In fact, yesterday we were talking about the potential of Callum Ilott to bump the number 6 Porsche out of the pole shootout before the red flag came out. Let's take a look at the results from the Hyperpole session. A reminder, only the top 8 from yesterday's qualifying run advanced to today. Again, it was Kevin Estre storming to a last-minute pole run with a 3:24.634, considerably slower than I had predicted the pole time being. In fact, the slowest overall pole time we've seen here at Le Mans since 2011. The track conditions were not great in today's session, with cooler temperatures than usual, and some reports of very light rain earlier in the evening. With the faster times in every other session this week compared to last year, I said I thought pole would have been around the mid-3:22s. Nevertheless, it was the number 2 Cadillac picking up second, although worth noting that they'll be starting in 7th on Saturday, after a 5-place grid penalty for the crash last race out at Spa. They said they needed to maximize their qualifying sessions to offset that penalty, and they did just that. They'll bump the sister number 3 Cadillac up to the front row, with a huge lap by Sébastien Bourdais earlier in the session, that looked for a while like it may have been good for pole. They were ultimately caught out by a red flag caused by Dries Vanthoor in the number 15 BMW, the provisional pole sitters from yesterday going off at Indianapolis and bringing out the red flag. The number 3 Cadillac not having enough fuel to put together a proper qualifying run on the medium tire compound after that red flag. Then it was the 2 Ferraris, 4th and 5th. They'll be bumped up to the second row for the race start, and Paul-Loup Chaton with the best qualifying effort of the season for the number 35 Alpine. Closing out the bottom 2 from qualifying today, it was the number 15 BMW. They had all of their lap times deleted for causing that red flag, same as the number 7 Toyota yesterday, but it didn't seem like they had the ultimate pace to be in contention for the pole today anyway. They'll be starting 6th after the penalty for the number 2 Cadillac. And with no time on track today, it was the number 12 Jota Porsche who are preparing a new monocoque for the race after Callum Ilott's crash in Free Practice 2 last night. They'll get a chance to shake down the new car on Friday at the adjacent airport before getting its first official on-track opportunities in Saturday's warm-up session. They'll maintain their 8th place starting position for the race. In LMP2, it was also a last-minute steal of the pole position by Louis Delatraz for the number 14 AO Racing by TF team. He put quite a big margin, over 6/10 over second place, last year's pole sitter's Edex Sport. Job van Uitert at the wheel of that car. Panis Racing slotting into the second row for Saturday, with the 2 United Autosports cars closing out the top 5. Maltha Jakobsen unable to back up his provisional pole from yesterday, picking up P6 today. DKR Engineering retaining their 7th place from the first qualifying session, and Vector Sport closing out the top 8 in LMP2. Over in LMGT3, I talked about the surprising performance from Inception Racing's Frederick Schandorf yesterday. Today, Brendan Arieb proved it wasn't a fluke by going one better and putting the number 70 McLaren on pole. He actually spun in the final turn earlier in the Hyperpole session while on a personal best, but was able to recover with an improvement after the red flag. He's joined on the front row by the championship-leading number 92 Porsche, down 8/10 from the pole time. The number 66 JMW Motorsport Ferrari barely missed out on the front row, only 1/100th of a second behind the Porsche. Then it was yesterday's fastest car, the number 77 Proton Competition Mustang, closing out the second row. 2 of the 3 Aston Martins in the class make up the third row, with the number 27 Heart of Racing team over the 777 D-Station Racing Vantage GT3 Evo. Closing out the top 8 from today's pole shootout, a couple of teams that really struggled to put down a representative time in the half-hour session. TF Sport with the number 82 Corvette, and Iron Lynx with the number 60 Lamborghini. Alright, just a couple closing thoughts from what we saw on track today. What a race we have on our hands this weekend. Drop the politics, drop the arguments. We have 4 manufacturers starting in the top 5 in the hypercar class, and 5 in the top 5 in LMGT3. Toyota have been on top in the majority of the practice sessions, and I think they'll have way more to offer in the race this weekend than what we saw from them in qualifying. I'll say it again, this is anybody's best guess for who stands on the top step of the podium in all 3 classes on Sunday. And with rain forecasted for the finish as well, who knows what this race has in store. I'll leave you with that. Thanks to everyone again for tuning in this week, and enjoy the 92nd running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans.